Tonight, TheoTrade's guide to thinkorswim's active trader. So again, my name is Don Kaufman here. I'll give you a quick risk disclosure. We are not financial advisors or a broker-dealer. The reason we throw this up here initially is, well, I spent the better part of my career at none other than, well, thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. Copyright disclaimer. Of course, we can replay this. You cannot replay this. This belongs to us. This is me, co-founder here of TheoTrade. Been trading options now for about 19 years, but I trade stocks, options, futures. You know, it's always kind of weird. Everybody always pigeonholes. They're like, yeah, what do you trade? Everything. I mean, in the end, does it matter? You can buy it and sell it, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. I've got about 17 years of thinkorswim platform experience. Hence why here at TheoTrade, we still do some demonstrations, of course, on the thinkorswim trading application. Well, predominantly because I've got a lot of experience on the trading application. A little bit about TheoTrade. We specialize in education for stocks, options, futures. We're founded by professional traders, trading educators. Everybody on our team here has got a minimum of 15 years of experience, a few with a couple of decades out there. I'm going to hit two decades in the marketplace here, well, pretty much in 2018. We're here to help you mitigate risks in the market while learning a skill set that can last a lifetime. The other important thing is, yeah, you know, I've been around the business for quite some time, but TheoTrade is much more than myself. We're Doc Severson. Everybody know Doc. Stocks, options, technicals. Doc has been around in the industry for quite some time. Jeff Bierman. Jeff actually worked with me, specifically in my group at TD Ameritrade, and even before that at thinkorswim. So Jeff and I kind of worked shoulder to shoulder for 7 years, and that is before Jeff joined TD Ameritrade. He was also held a pretty highly coveted position. He was the chief market technician at TD Ameritrade, helped build a lot of the charting application for thinkorswim. Next on the list, Steve Miller, 42-year veteran. Steve started trading options when the pit originally opened in the early 1970s in Chicago. He's also one of the first screen-based traders. Again, specializes in stock, but also a phenomenal futures trader. Last but definitely not least, Tony Rago specializes in NASDAQ futures. He's our intraday strategist here at TheoTrade. So with that, we're gonna jump right into it here. I am going to pull up the thinkorswim trading application, and we're going to start talking a bit about active trader. That's what I am effectively displaying right now. Now, before I go infinitely deep into some of the technology, everybody recognize this is recorded. I speak rather quickly. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. There are many clientele joining us this evening that already have accounts with TD Ameritrade. Now, I want to give you guys a little bit about the relationship because some people are brand new here. They have no idea what a thinkorswim even is. That's fine, okay? Thinkorswim is a trading application, okay, that is part of TD Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade now hosts the largest number of retail clients in pretty much the known universe. It's for U.S. markets, that is. TD Ameritrade just completed their acquisition of Scottrade, and there are now over 11 million clients of TD Ameritrade. Okay, thinkorswim is one of the acquisitions from years ago. Was actually back in 2009. One of the acquisitions was this smaller company called thinkorswim. TD Ameritrade acquired them. I was actually working at thinkorswim at the time of the acquisition. I only left TD Ameritrade just about 2 years ago. Yeah, we're looking about 2 years ago before we really kicked off and founded TheoTrade. So if you have a TD Ameritrade account, fantastic. If you do not, I will throw this up now. I will throw this up here again later. We have a reduced commissions rate through TD Ameritrade if you come on and open up a new account. It is theotrade.com/preferred broker. Again, I will pull this up later, theotrade.com/preferred preferred dash broker. I want to make clear that that's a / preferred dash broker. All right, again, I will bring that up later. In addition to it, you can receive and reach that link by going directly to TheoTrade.com. Under free resources, come right down to preferred broker, click on preferred broker, and of course, you can open an account. If you have any questions about the commissions rate that we have through TD Ameritrade, that is something we do not mention on any public broadcasts. You can ask us, all right, via chatting in right now into, of course, the chat room, or again, we can accept an email that is support@TheoTrade.com. Support@TheoTrade.com. Again, to also, if you want to get a hold of us at any time, okay, right from the TheoTrade site, assuming that you've gone to the TheoTrade site, you can come in here under contact at any time. You can email us. Okay, just again, there's the email, support@TheoTrade.com, our phone number, everything we need to be able to get a hold of us. So without further ado, let's jump into a little bit about the technology. So this evening, quite unusual for me, I decided to use a simulated trading account. This is the paper trading version of thinkorswim. The reason I decided to use the paper trading version is to really understand many of the order types that we're going to go through, to really understand the technology. It's most suitable to put the technology into action. And in essence, we really needed to do some trading. Well, right now, the futures markets are effectively open, okay, but they're a little bit less liquid. So I prefer at this point to trade them in a simulator rather than, well, I can go out there and I can fire off a bunch of futures positions in my own account, but because there's a lack of liquidity in the evening, that might not be, okay, the preferred manner for me to want to get involved in markets. So as I said, this is Active Trader. Now, let me take you onto the trading application a little bit and show you around. Okay, first and foremost, when you first log on to thinkorswim, it might look something along the lines of this. Now, we can pull a watch list in here. This is what we term the left sidebar. Now, we have numerous demonstrations, okay, on our site. They're all free that you can access specifically about thinkorswim. I mean, we've got infinite detail about thinkorswim, but one of the demonstrations we never did was about this active trader. So I want to cut to the chase and get right to the active trader. I'm actually going to close up this left side bar. Now what you're looking at here, this happens to be the main trade tab. Okay, thinkorswim is broken into tabs. There's a monitor tab, a trade tab, an analyze tab, a scan tab, a market watch, there's charts, there's tools, all right, there's a help screen over here, there's everything. Now, we're going to go directly into the trade tab. The trade tab is then broken, all right, into sub-tabs. We have all products, all right, and let's actually start to highlight a few things. Over here, all products, there's Forex Trader, Futures Trader, Active Trader, and Pairs Trader. Take my word for this one, having quite a bit of experience in actually helped, put together some of the technology. Really, the only thing you want to focus on is all products and Active Trader. The Futures Trader and Forex Trader, they've really become obsolete. Active Trader kind of replaces those, and Pairs Trader is well, in my opinion, is a hideous beast from which there is absolutely no return. So tonight, we're again going to focus on Active Trader. So let's go ahead and let's click directly into Active Trader. But the first time you access Active Trader, it might not look as neat and as clean as this. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click reset. I'm going to reset everything. And this is what it's going to look like. The very first time you enter into the Active Trader, you're like, oh, that is hideous. Okay, what it initially does in Active Trader is it aligns, okay, this ability to, here's the S&Ps, here's the NASDAQ, but you kind of feel like everything is jumbled together. You can't really see anything. It doesn't even matter how good your resolution is on your monitor. It's kind of hard to see. It just is, right? It's just kind of hard to see on here. So one of the first things that I suggest you do is you come right up here to this little grid system. And I'll click on it a few times so you can see it and knock yourself down, okay, to one grid. And when I say one grid, instead of having this two grids, you're going to knock yourself down, okay, to one grid. Now what you see is a chart, and this is the active trader. Active trader, another word for active trader, a word you're going to hear frequently, okay? It is called a ladder. This is a trading ladder. Now, the chart. Now, we've got demos into the nauseam on charts. For this evening, I will, if I have time, come back a little bit to charts. But for right now, I want to shut down the charts, and I want to focus, okay, almost exclusively on the active trader module itself, on the futures ladder. To shut down the charts, there is an important little area off here to the right-hand side of the screen. And again, I've got my favorite little highlighting tool. This, okay, is actually called Super Gadget. That's what it's called. It's called the Super Gadget. Super Gadget. And what the Super Gadget allows you to do is you can actually close the charts. Okay? You can close up the charts. You can bring in buttons over here. You can even close up Active Trader. You can throw in the T and S. What's that? It's time and sales. These are trades that are going through right now. It doesn't matter if this is paper trading. These are live trades that are actually cruising through in the S&P futures. So we're going to go through, okay, a lot of detail in here. First, before I start jumping forward, okay, I want to get into the nuts and bolts of the major features of the active trader. As I said, it's called a ladder. Why do they call it a ladder? Okay, because it's price rungs. Like these are rungs of a ladder, okay? And price either is climbing or declining the rungs of the price ladder. Okay, a few things that you want to start to orient yourself with. First of all, this is where you plug in the symbol. Notable, I have plugged in the ES futures. It is a futures contract. Not everybody that's listening this evening is intimately familiar with futures. However, the active trader, okay, the initial design, the intent of active trader is expressly for futures. Can you trade stock in active trader? Of course you can. Can you trade options in here? Yes, however, I am far less inclined to want to discuss trading options in active trader. I believe that there's a huge amount of risk associated with that. Nevertheless, we're going to use the futures contracts, the S&Ps, throughout much of tonight's demonstration. You could trade NASDAQ futures in here. I mean, you could be trading like wheat, cocoa, all right, whatever you want. You want to trade some dollar futures, you know, trade to your heart's content. So that's where you actually enter in the symbol. Now, why would somebody even want to be in active trader? Okay, well, I'm going to jump forward. Before I start really getting into more of the orientation, why would somebody really want to trade active trader? Well, when you're here on the All Products screen and you want to buy something, you have to click on the Ask. It brings it up in the order entry. You have to come over here to confirm and send. Then you got to go what? And send the trade. And it's a lot of steps. You know, you're like click. You got to change the number of shares. You got to maybe change the price. I want it to be a good till canceled or a day. I need a stop order, yada, yada, yada. A half an hour later, you're finally hitting send. Active Trader is a direct visual interface to the marketplace. You're like, whoa, 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 what does that even mean? Okay, well, what it means is this page is hot. Okay, now you have a confirmation that can come up, but you can even bypass that. Okay, there's a little arrow right over here, and again, I'll get you orientated with all the buttons. You can click Auto Send, close that back up. Auto Send instantly makes the page hot. What a hot page means, all right, is that these orders, when you click on Active Trader, they're live. Okay, that's it. You just fired off a trade, which, hey, listen, carefully. When you click off that Auto Send button, right, and I want to be very, very frank with this. You click Auto Send, it gets serious. These are futures contracts. You know, futures contracts can have, again, tens of thousands of dollars of risk depending upon what futures contract you possibly trade. And this could be an oil contract in here. It could get serious very, very quickly. And when you click off auto send, I know people don't necessarily think about this, but if you're on a laptop, and you know how easy it is to brush against the mouse on a laptop, right? You just brush against the little, like, you know, the little touchpad over there. Next thing you know, you're like, hey, I'm the proud owner of 6 futures contracts. Look how easy it is. Oh, I'm just clicking like a madman. Anyway, we just got long. Look, my position is 2 futures contracts. Okay? That's how fast. It's a direct interface to the marketplace. Now, let's unwind the position. Let's just sell out 2. Okay? Good. Done. That's how quick it is to basically be what we call flat. We're going to be long, we're going to be short, and we're going to be flat. What's long? It means I bought contracts. What's short? It means I sold contracts to open. What's flat? It means I have no position. Okay? We got long, we got short, and we got flat. Think about those throughout the course. Okay. Now, I just gave you a quick hint as to why somebody might want to use this. It's for speed of execution. All right? Speed of execution. Now, let's start to get you a little bit more orientated with where things are, some of the features on here. Can I do stops? Can I do trail stops? Can I do OCO bracket orders? The answer is yes, 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 and yes. Okay? And yet there's much more. So let me give you some of the major features, okay, of the active trader. First and foremost, to familiarize yourself with this, okay, this is the standard setup. Over, okay, on the ladder itself, on the far left-hand side, we have volume, okay? We have buy orders and we have sell orders. Now, we went volume, buy orders, sell orders. Why is there columns for buy orders and sell orders? Look, as fast as I can drag my mouse, I'll actually click right down here. Do you see that buy order? Okay? What that ultimately means is I have an order in. It's a limit order to buy. At what price? Right there, 25, 55, 50. That is my buy order. Okay? If I wanted to cancel out of the order, that's what that little X is for. I can immediately cancel out. You're out. I'll go ahead and click on the ask. Clicking on the ask will generate a sell order. Now, that's an order to sell at what price? Well, that answer is 25.59. Anywhere I click, I can immediately generate an order. Now I can cancel the order, but I also have the ability to drag and drop the trade. Dragging and drop the trade will actually modify the original order and re-put it in at a new price. So as fast as you can drag and drop the trade is as fast as you can actually re-enter the order. Now I just threw that order directly into the marketplace, and what did it do? Okay, well, gave me a position. So now we're having fun. Flatten everything. Ooh, we are having fun now. Okay, so just to get you again orientated with things, then we talk about volume. Now you're like, well, I don't really get the way this is volume. It's really, this is a volume histogram. Okay, the way it works is it's the number of contracts that are trading on any given price point. So for instance, if it says 66,000, it means 66,000 contracts traded right at that price point. And throughout the course of the day, what a volume histogram often looks like as the day progresses, it kind of looks like, well, often a bell-shaped curve, right? With the heaviest, wherever the market sits the longest, is typically the heaviest volume out there. So again, volume, they always say volume kind of precedes price. I don't necessarily know if that's true, but you can see where the heaviest volume has traded. So for those of you that are into calculations like VWAP and so forth, volume weighted average price, this almost gives you a visual interpretation of VWAP instantly. We went through a little bit about buy orders. We went through a little bit about sell orders. Now, let's get into what is called bid size, okay, and ask size. Now, price is fairly self-explanatory. This is the price increments, okay, that the S&P futures trade in. The S&P futures move in 25-cent increments, and you can, of course, see 25-cent increments up or down. Now, those increments can be changed. They can be changed. If you're in an extraordinarily fast market condition, you can come right, and I'm going to highlight this, right in here. Okay, you can click this plus or minus button. When you click on that plus or minus button, it'll actually change the increments. All right, so you can see the tightest increment would be 25 cents. Okay, you can also zoom out to here, for example, is 50-cent increments. Click it out again, all right, and it jumps out even further. So kind of a fun little tool. I'm not exactly sure why you'd want to do that, but it is what it is. We also have the ladder that can move very, very rapidly. You can click right here and recenter the ladder immediately. So hopefully that works. By the way, absolutely, this works with all futures contracts, whether it's oil. I scalp oil in here all the time. I've scalped oil in here. I've scalped, you know, some of the soft commodities, gold, you name it. I've traded it in terms of the futures contracts inside of Active Trader. Fun story about Active Trader. After we built this, and it was way back in like 2007 time frame, we added oil futures to the thinkorswim trading application. I hadn't really traded any oil futures before. I don't mind telling people that. Oil futures were not really readily traded until 2006, 2007. So some of the first oil futures I ever traded were in 2007. And the first thing I did, not really knowing how big the contract was and not really caring, I sold 3 oil contracts, and oil shot up, and I was short 3 oil contracts. Oil shot up, okay, by over $3 only minutes after I sold 3 contracts. And I'm like, what happened? I just lost like $10,000. True story. And the guys were laughing. They're like, have you ever traded an oil contract? I'm like, no, I was an S&P, trader. What the hell do I know about oil? They go, it's a really big contract, Don. And I go, I know that now. Anyway, know your contract before you're trading it. It's, by the way, that trade ended up going very, very well. It was just, it was an interesting learning curve that day. So with that, okay, we are looking at what we call bid size and, again, ask size. What these sizes indicate, and this is exclusively to futures contracts, okay? The way that futures contracts work. Futures contracts are known, okay, as a first in, first out marketplace. It's different than stock. It's different than how we route trades in stock. It's different than how we route trades in options. Futures is a first in, first out marketplace. So what this means, like this 115, that means there's 115 contracts in at the ask, okay, by 72 contracts ultimately at the what? At the bid. And those are real. When I say those are real, okay, those are people that are trying to get filled at those particular levels. Why are they trying to get filled at those levels? Well, first and foremost, yes, those are real, but those orders can be canceled at any point or modified at any point. But it's really important for the professionals because it's a first in, first out marketplace. If this market started moving very, very rapidly, they want to make sure that their trade is going to get filled. So they leave, okay, a lot of orders just out there and working. They leave orders in the book. But here's the thing. These numbers change when the market's live so quickly. Like if you think you can actually interpret the bid size and the ask size, I know some people really try to use that, but it's incredibly difficult, at least in my opinion, to use the bid size and offer size because trading firms today are using algorithms that actually move in millionths of a second, not hundredths of a second or thousandths of a second, okay? In fact, the real truth is they're even beyond millionths of a second. They're actually moving today in nanoseconds, which is billionths of a second. That's how fast, okay, trading has really become. It's billionths of a second. It's one of the reasons for the efficiency in the marketplace, these days. So that's just giving you a little bit of an orientation. Now, if you wanted to place an order, like let's say I wanted to buy these futures at 25.57, okay, I can click and place the order. That's just a limit order. It's out there. It's loving it. But let's get you to that point. Like, how do you even go about trading on this thing? Well, we have a couple of buttons that we want to familiarize ourselves with before we ever start really trading on here, okay? And all of these buttons, there's buttons up top and there's quantity down here and there's a single, do you check the box next to single or are you an OCO? You got to orientate yourself with a little bit of everything because you don't want to be caught, and I'm serious about this, don't want to be caught, okay, trying to figure out the technology when the proverbial crap hits the fan. And I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but it's true because I can't tell you how many times, over the years be like, hey, how does that work? You don't really want to figure out how it works, when the markets are whipping around. That's why one of the reasons I'm also in simulated trading right now, to teach you that. So let's give you a little bit of an orientation. Again, everything in here is customizable. You know, the buy market, sell market, cancel, reverse, flatten. You can customize this. How can you customize this? The little sprocket, okay, to configure buttons. That's what these are called. These are called buttons. And you can have a first line and a second line, okay? Up top over here is the first line. I'm just moving my mouse over here like a a crazed animal. But as I said, up here, this is considered the first line. This is considered your second line. So let's get into a little bit, just a little bit, of some of the customization features in the available, items. So I don't mind what's in here, but all right, there's buy market, sell market. What does that even mean? Just did a market order. Oh, yuck, I feel so dirty. I can also hit sell market, okay? But my question is, like, why do a buy market, or sell market? Like, why do that? Because you could just click a limit order into here and it'd probably be more effective. But whatever, some people like that. Now, you got to remember something. When this auto send button is on, when that auto send button is on, buy market, sell market, these buttons are hot. Hot means you touch them, you're going to fire an order. Some people don't like that, so what do? You come in here and you go, I don't need no stinking buy or sell, okay? Now, as you kind of cruise through, there's all these like different buttons you can add. You can add, like, instead of flatten, you can add flatten now. Well, what, Don, is flatten now? Watch. Okay, so let's go out there and buy the market. Buy the market. Okay, so now I just bought two. I bought two futures. Great. I can hit flatten, okay, and it'll immediately flatten out the position. Flatten now effectively does the exact same thing. When you have auto send checked, it doesn't make a difference. So flatten and flatten now are in fact redundant. I just wanted to throw it out there because people always ask me that. Now, down below there's quantity with buttons, order templates, auto send, okay, and an auto template editor. Now, let's start to talk a little bit about the quantity, okay? This allows you to trade one contract. So I went out and fired off one contract, but you're like, oh no, I want 3 more. So you click on 3. And now I'm long 4, okay? So now my quantity is set to 3. You can't screw this up, and I'll tell you why. If you do, if you forget about it, all of a sudden now you're trading 3 lots, okay? Go back to 1 over here, and again, all I'm doing is just giving you the bid, the offer, and clicking on it. So that's what this quantity is. Now, you can come in here, and again, the quantity, it's whatever you're comfortable with, 1, 3, 5. So as you come in here and the quantity with buttons, it's a pretty effective little tool. Why might you want to trade more than one contract? Well, we're going to get into that here. The next major feature is called the template. The template, well, I'm just doing single orders, but I could also do like OCO. And some people have no clue. And this is where things can start to get complicated. Like, what is an OCO? One cancels other. One cancels other. What that basically means, if I fill this, I can put in a second order over here. If I fill this, I can put a stop order down below. You can do that. And you can do that at a click's notice. Now, before I start running down the list of the different order types, because it's exciting when we get into order types, I'll come back to that. All right, we're going to keep it on single right now because I'm still trying to get you guys a little bit more, again, orientated with what everything is on the screen. So we've kind of gone through, just briefly, some of the available items and some of the customizations in these top 2 lines, right? And there's other features in here. Cancel all buys, cancel all sell. This is like what I call a freak out button. It's a cancel button. You're like, what does that mean? If you have an order working, see this cancel? You can click cancel, cancel all buy, cancel all sell. Just cancel all. It's kind of a fun one. Now, okay, now I've gone in there and I've just bought one future. Then there's this reverse button. What do you think reverse means? It means I'm going to take a long one and it's actually going to make me short one. And you go reverse again. Let me tell you from my own experience about reverse, that button, it's pure evil. It's just pure evil, I tell you, okay? I just cannot stress enough the active trader reverse button. I say it's pure evil because if you haven't traded too many, you know, you have no idea. You'll flip over your position. Something's working against you. You'll flip the position over, and then it'll work against you again. You'll flip it over a third time, and you're like, oh, the only one winning there, people, is probably TD Ameritrade when you start spending a lot in terms of commissions. Look, my P&L so far in these demonstrations up $12.50. I've probably spent $50 in commissions because I've done 16 contracts. Anyway, that is why I wanted to bring you again into this. Next, before we really start digging any deeper, okay, which we're going to do here momentarily, there's another customization I got to make you familiar with, and that's here. This is the total number of buys and sells. So I was long 16 and I sold 16, okay? The next little feature on here says position. Now, with that position, okay, is flat. That means I don't have any contracts. If I went out and I bought one, you'll see the position is now 1. It'll also tell me the average price to where I bought and sold. It'll show me the P&L of this position from the open and the P&L from the day. Now, some people like to trade with P&L staring them in the face. Some people don't. The differentiation, this is P&L from the open of whatever's open right now. In addition, there's P&L in the day. So if you're kind of scalping in and out of trades throughout the course of the day, you know, the P&L of the open and then the P&L in the day is next to it. Now, these can also be customized. You can click over here to what's called customize. Well, there's not a lot of items for this, but it can actually give you, again, average price. I like average price, right? It's in there. Profit and loss today, profit and loss the open, day only positions, buys and sells, all of that is available in here. Some people also choose to hide the position summary, okay? And again, you can hide the position summary, although I don't like to. I don't even like to mess with that. Like, I like to see my average price. I like to know that I'm long one. I don't necessarily, I'm not so inclined to like, oh, profit and loss, you know, but I'm really heavily inclined to want to look at the average price over here. Also incredibly important is this shaded region right there. That is effectively wherever I bought or sold, okay? So, all right, let's go out. Let's flatten my position again. Great. Okay, look, we're up 1250 again. Okay, so now, now that we've gotten through where things are located, let's start to actually talk a little bit about trading these monkeys, okay? When you want to start to trade them, again, you've seen me fire off a bunch of single orders, all right? So if I'm watching a price chart, and the way that you'd want to do this, you could have the chart on the same screen, right? You can have the chart on the same screen, but ideally, if you're using Active Trader, okay, it's my suggestion that you keep Active Trader on one screen, a chart on another. And if you're using Active Trader, and let me just, again, I don't want to tell you like, this is the only way to do it, but I will tell you this. When you're trading an Active Trader, at this point, you have capital at risk, and sometimes a lot of capital at risk, especially in a fast-moving market, okay? If you've got your capital at risk, it's worth it to invest in a separate monitor, you know, that's going to cost you a good monitor these days is like $200-300. A spectacular monitor off the charts would be like $400. Okay, I've got a habit now. I take old TVs and I make them second monitors. I mean, I trade predominantly. I trade on 3 monitors. I have a 6-monitor system, but I trade on 3 monitors. And right now, ironically, I had an issue with my computer. So right now, I'm actually trading on a laptop with a second monitor hooked up to it. Okay, but I feel pretty strongly about that because I don't want this space to be an issue ever. You know, when you got the chart open here, space shouldn't be an issue. Everything should be clean for you. So let's get into quote-unquote tradability. Maybe you want to go out and you want to buy something. You put a limit order in. The limit order now is set for $25.56. Okay, that's just a single order. Now, that's a limit to buy. It says +1 to buy at $25.56. Close out of that. Now, let's say I want to open the trade by selling, right? This is getting short. So nice big round number. Here you go. There's a limit order at $25.59. Okay, to get short one at $25.59. Now again, I can drag and drop the order, or I can click the little X and immediately cancel out of the order. Now, if you have a bunch of orders working, okay, and you can do this because I know this looks silly, and you might think this looks silly, all right? But I got 1 to sell up here, 1, 2, 3 to buy. When you start trading more actively, this might look silly, but you will actually put in at different price points. You start freaking out because the market's moving. Relax, come up to cancel. Cancel all. They're gone. I just whacked all 4 of those, okay? That's why those buttons are there. Like, you think the buttons are a joke until all of a sudden you're like, ooh, all right? By the way, I love it. Somebody just came in. I just removed my my reverse button. The reverse button, oh, is the most evil thing ever, okay? The most evil thing ever. And again, to make any of these buttons active, if you see that these buttons are shaded out, like you can't click on the cancel. You know why? Because you don't have a trade on. You don't have a trade working. So if the buttons themselves are not working, they're grayed out, okay, you ultimately don't have a trade on, or you're totally flat, or you don't have anything working. So that's why there's the cancel all. And again, you know, the sell and sell market over here, I personally don't even like those. I don't keep like the buy market, sell market even on my screen. I'll tell you why I don't keep mine on the screen. Because accidentally click, oh crap, I'm long one, and then I got to turn around and sell it. And that would just infuriate me. Okay, now we're going to start to work our way into a little bit more complexity. Obviously, I like the idea of auto send. I like that checked on, right? Because if I don't have auto send and I click, look at this confirmation. Oh, I had to confirm that I wanted it. Okay, listen, you're on active trader. Right? This is the big leagues over here. Put on the big boy pants, step up to the plate. The Yankees are losing. At least they were when I was on earlier. I don't know why. It's baseball reference, baseball time of the year. Anyway, put on the big boy pants and check off auto send. That's what this thing was designed for. I'll close that up. Okay. As I said, put on the big boy pants. Now we're going to start to get into more complicated order types. There's, you know, OCO. What's an OCO? Predominantly, let me show you what the OCO is kind of designed for. You put this order out there to buy something, right? Then you can put brackets around it. And you're like, huh? Okay. You can put brackets around the order. There's a lot you can do with the OCO. So we'll come back in here and we'll look at this OCO a little bit. OCO, one cancels other. So if one fills, it'll actually cancel out the other. So if you look at this, if I buy here, it'll cancel out there. And you're like, why would I want that? There's plenty to do with that order. But before I get too confusing, guys, I find the OCO a little bit confusing. I want to go trigger with bracket, because I think that the trigger with bracket are the quintessential order types that people really, really need to learn. Okay, and I'm going to click the order, all right, and then I'm going to explain it. This is a trigger with a bracket. What a trigger with a bracket is, this order fills. This is the primary order. Then 2 secondary orders go out. Now, okay, again, primary order, the 2 secondary orders. What are the secondary orders? Here is a stop, and here is a limit. If we hit the limit order, it will cancel the stop. If we hit the stop, it will cancel the limit. It's a trigger, okay? It's a first trigger OCO. What's the one cancels other? The first order fills and it triggers then the OCO of these order types. And that's like a lot of people don't understand this. Now, let me cancel all these out, okay? Cancel all, and they're all gone. Let me show you exactly where it is. Under the template, go to trigger with bracket. Okay? Under the template, go to trigger with bracket. You will enable, okay? You will enable both to do an OCO. Now we'll talk about enabling and disabling in here. So when it says enable, quantity sell 1, trigger. What's the trigger based on? You can trigger on different value offsets. I'll come back to that as well. You can do stop orders or trail stops. Okay, stop orders or trail stops are applicable inside of Active Trader. In Active Trader, there's, you know, it's not going to have all the different wild, you know, crazy order types, but you could do a first triggers OCO, a stop, again, or a trail stop. Now, allow me for just a second to uncheck the upside trigger. When I say the upside trigger, now all I'm creating here, and I want you to get very comfortable with this, okay? Now all I'm creating is a limit order with an effective stop, okay? Cancel out of that. So I wanted to show you there's different variations. So again, you can check and enable this, not enable that. You can change where you want your stop order in here. You know, I can come out here and buy and then set the stop order a couple of dollars below. Does that, I hope that makes a degree of sense. If I buy here, I'm setting a, you know, a stop behind it. So once again, let's cancel. Let's show you how to do this. And we'll go through a bunch of these. So trigger with bracket. Now the trigger with bracket. Now you're looking at this and you're thinking, this is a pain, man. You have to constantly keep setting this crap. And no, you don't. Set up your favorite order type. Okay? Watch. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say, I want to, and I'm actually going to write this out. I want to buy the futures contract, let's say at 25.56. And I want to set a stop order exactly $2 below. $2. That's it. I don't want to target to the upside. See, I'm disabling that. So if I have this order and I say 25.56, there's the order type. That's it, right? So let's go through that again. I want to buy at 25.56 and I want to set a stop order, right, exactly $2 below. So I want to buy here. That's my buy, and there's my stop order. Okay. Now let's do that once again. Cancel out of there, cancel all. Now all you have to do is come in here one time, go trigger with bracket, disable the upside. Let's talk about that $2 stop. Now, if this is the trade that you like, and you're like, that's cool, let's just do that, Don. Let's just do that. So now I'm buying here, and look, I can even adjust, and it'll adjust the stop. Watch. If I drag and drop, it'll adjust the stop order. So you're like, oh, you kind of trail stop in it. You can actually trail stop technically by hand. You know, ooh, look at that. I even moved the stop order. But let's say that you really like the order that I just built. Again, let's do it one more time. Trigger with a bracket, come in here, make the stop order exactly $2 down below. You set the stop, it's all ready to go. But before you do that, see that little thing right there? Oh, hold everything. That little monkey right there. It looks like what? A floppy disk. Anybody know what a floppy disk is? Okay. If you're a millennial, you don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Yes, that was a little bit of a, you know, tonight we're picking on millennials. We've given up on Canadians. We've picked on Canadians enough. Now we're picking on millennials. So if you're a millennial, you don't know what a floppy disk happens to be. Anyway, I can call this a template, okay? Don's stop -2. That sounds good. And I hit save. Yay! Now I saved the template. You're like, okay. See, there's the trigger with bracket, but if you look down below, look, Don stop -2. It'll always default right to that. Sweet. You can set up as many templates in here as you want. All right. So trigger with the bracket and set up a template. Okay. Are we having fun yet? Are we having fun yet? All right. So let's get a little bit more complicated. Little more complicated, if you will. What's more complicated than that? Let's start actually using the triggers with the brackets. So some people might want to say like, all right, I think this is cool. I want to put a stop order in like $2 lower, and I want the target like $2 or $3 above. Now think about what I just did, okay? All I'm doing in this particular case, I created a template where I'm going out there and I'm buying, okay, at a specific price. I'm willing to lose 2 to be able to make 3. That's it. And I want to be clear about this. If we fill here and then trade up, if we trade up to this price, it'll sell it. So if I buy it here, it'll sell it what's here, okay? Here happens to be 25.59.50, okay? If I buy it 25.56.50, it'll either sell at 25.59.50 or, and that's important, it's or. It's not both, or, okay? It'll actually stop me out at 25.54.50. So these two orders, okay, are OCO. OCO. One cancels other. So if this one fills, it would actually cancel this one out, right? If this one fails, it would cancel this order out. Now we're having fun. Okay, let's go in and let's actually actively place one of these. So now I just intentionally filled it. Okay, so now that I intentionally filled it, now I can drag the stop order anywhere I want. See how I'm dragging the stop order? And it constantly keeps updating it. But over here, this is the stuff that nobody knows. And when I say nobody knows, seriously, there are features in here like nobody knows. That is a linkage tab right there off to the left-hand side of your screen. Okay? What that linkage tab will allow you to do is drag both OCOs, both sides of it. You can actually drag it and kind of trail stop it physically, but you're also moving your limit order higher at the same time. So you can drag each order independently. Okay, look, I can drag the orders independently, or I can actually move, okay, the full bracket, and it'll constantly cancel, replace, cancel, replace, cancel, replace. Critically important to understand this little link right here. That link is huge, huge, huge feature. You just drag it, okay, and very few people know how to do that. Now, let's cancel all the orders, and watch, we're going to hit flatten now. Okay, so I'll flatten out of the position, done, out. I'm out. I'm out of the contest. All right. Let's continue on a little bit now. So after you've gone through and you've learned about this bracket, okay, you can also set a trail stop. But before I even get to trail stops, okay, I want to show you something that very few people understand, and that's what they call value offset. So I'm going to show you what a value offset is. All right. I'm going to set a stop, for example, $2 below. But instead of doing $2, okay, and that's, it's all well and good, but you can place a stop exactly, again, like, $2 below, whatever it might be, $2, $2, $2, and let me cancel all those out. You can set a stop based on price, but you can also base it on tick offset. What's a tick offset? 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 4, 5 ticks, 6 ticks, 7 ticks, more. 4 ticks is a 1-point move. 8 ticks, okay, is a 2-point move. Ticks depends on which product you're trading. If I throw in here the ZB, bonds, there's 32 ticks to a 1-point move. So if I have 8 ticks is kind of a big boy move. Each tick, again, there's 32 ticks to a 1-point move, but you can see what a tick is then worth. So you can actually trade it in tick. Last but not least, you could do percentages. By the way, 6% in the bonds, if it was 6% in the bonds, you'd be throwing up. 6% move in the bonds is absolutely huge. But come back over here to the S&Ps. Let's get back to the S&Ps and make some sense of this. This value offset, that's what this is. You can do it in dollars, you can do it in ticks, or you can actually set stops in percentages. I just want to show you all 3 of them, okay? The little thing that looks like, a tick chart, it looks like stairs really, but it looks like a tick chart, that is to allow to place stops and ticks, okay? Then you can also place percentages. Be careful in percentages. Percentages are huge, huge inside, okay, like a 2% trail stop. When was the last time we saw a 2 or 3% move? The last 3% move was in November of 2016. That's the last 3% move, November of 2016. Okay. Anything that you like, remember, you can save the order template. All right? So let's get to what I would start to term a little bit more extremities. Some of the extremities in here, like let's make this a $2 stop, but instead, now we're going to trail stop. The trail stop can get very, very complicated. And I will caution you on the trail stop in futures. So most people that are using active trader, this is something that, I've argued for a long time. I never believed that trail stops, and this is my own personal belief, but I never believed that trail stops should even be included in active trader. So here is a $1 trail stop, okay? And if I fill that, then drop the trail stop over there. Okay, so the trail stop becomes active only after I fill the initial order. Now, the reason I have an issue with the trail stop, active trader is designed for you to kind of visually pull orders around, okay? And the trail stop doesn't allow you to do that, meaning that if you fill an order over here and the market starts going against you, you can immediately sell and get the hell out. Like active trader is for people that want to watch the positions. They're supposed to be watching their positions. They're not supposed to be sitting there doing nothing. So that's why I have an argument about trail stops. But the trail stop, again, it becomes active after the execution. You can make the trail stop anything you want it to be. If you do a tight trail stop, though, don't get upset when you get stopped out. So here's a trail stop, okay? And what would happen is if the market moves up, the trail stop will start to dynamically move with it. Okay, and it'll just, start cranking in there. But again, active trader, that's my own feeling. But that's how you do a trail stop. Okay, now, when I say let's get to the extreme, so here's a bracketed order. We kind of get the idea of a bracketed order, right? You buy here, you can put a stop order down below and a limit order up above. Like it's a bracket, yada, yada, yada. That's great. But, and cancel all of those. You could actually do, all right, multiple brackets. Now, if you're going to do multiple brackets, look, as I start to try to click in here, it won't let me do anything. You're like, it's broken? It's not broken. If you're going to do multiple brackets, you have to trade multiple contracts. You got to bump this to 2 contracts. Now, this is going to confuse the hell out of everybody, okay? There are multiple brackets being placed simultaneously. Let me explain the order type to you, okay? What this order type is doing, it is buying 2 contracts at 25.56. Then it's got one series of stop orders for one lot at 25.55, one of the targets at 25.57, then it's got another target on the upside, okay, 25.58, and another target down below at 25.54. So what it's ultimately doing, it's allowing you to stagger. Okay, what's staggering mean? It's actually allowing you to say, I want to get in at this price, but I want to get out here and out here. Or I want to get in at this price, get stopped here and stopped here. That is a tiered system. Now, also to the left-hand side of the screen, all the way over here, come on, follow the bouncing ball. To the left-hand side of the screen, you can come in here and you can actually move the brackets around. This will freak people out, but you can actually move the brackets and kind of trail stop the brackets. You can physically trail stop the brackets. Very, very cool. You go, I'm so confused. Good, cancel all, and they're all gone. All right, that's why those buttons are so important. Anybody? Okay, now let's continue on. It's again, real important that we understand the complexity of this order. This is a trigger with 2 brackets. We also have a trigger with 3 brackets. You're like, that's insane, sir. It is. Watch this. Now there's 3 orders working. Look, I'm buying 3. I said a stop here. I said limit, stop, stop, stop. That's it. That's all it is. Okay. And if you really, really like this stuff, you shouldn't make this overblown. Like, don't make this too complex. If you really like this stuff, listen, you just got to figure it out one time. Like, just when I say figure it out one time, just figure it out one time. Why? After you figure it out, okay, you should just come in here and, you change something, and then you could start saving templates. Like, look, you could start saving all these different templates and stuff in here, and it's really that easy to start to save templates. And there's nothing at all wrong, but like, you start to build your own template, and we'll call this just Don's Crazy Trade. Don's Crazy Trade, and hit save. Now, I'll go back to single, and I go, oh man, I need a crazy trade. And there it is. Boom. There's my crazy trade placed. I just put a couple of crazy stops in here. Cancel all, cancel all. And they go, wait, no, I don't want that. I want Don stop too. Boom, got it. And you can have template after template after template after template. Okay? This is what active trader is designed for. Okay? Fast. Speed of execution, okay, is important. Now, let me get for a moment, okay, again, into speed. Let me get a moment into speed, because there's always conversations about this going around the TheoTrade chat room. There's always conversations about speed. The one thing, and again, part of this is demonstration, but to get you to understand retail technology, you have to understand from the standpoint of you're a retail trader, you're entering off your Pentium computer or whatever you got. Some people just trade on iPads and so forth, which is fine. Okay, speed isn't your game. strategy is your game. When I say speed is not your game, you are never going to be faster than the 1,030 contracts that's already entered here. You can't be faster than them. All right, these are the people that literally bought a server in Chicago to put next to the Globex system. So speed ain't going to be your game. So there's always those, well, this brokerage firm is faster than this brokerage firm, okay? If speed is your game, you've already lost. And you need to know that. Like, somebody needs to tell more retail clients just that. The other thing, that if you're going to trade futures, and I'm not, again, I'm showing you active trader, and I'm showing you that, you know, all of this technology on futures, but you could do this with stock as well. But if you're going to trade futures, and I have a very, very strong feeling about this, and I think it's so important because I'm giving you this from the outside. Yes, I'm doing a thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade demonstration here, okay? But if you're going to trade with any brokerage firm, you want to make sure that the brokerage firm, okay, has SIPC insurance. I never suggest going to a futures-only brokerage firm. I am trying to save you people, okay? A futures-only firm has completely different insurance levels, and I know it's outside the, you know, the scope of maybe a demonstration here on something an active trader, but it's essential that people understand this, that at the bigger brokerage firms that allow you, like a TD Ameritrade, that allows you to trade futures, at night your capital sweeps back into, okay, a SIPC insured account. At a futures firm, it's completely different in like insurance model, and it is not nearly as secure. And I stress this time and again, futures firms go belly up all the time, okay? Very few brokerage firms, the big ones, they don't go belly up. And if they do, the SIPC insurance is there at $500,000 account. That's the bare minimum. Again, the futures, you just don't have the same insurance. So if you're looking for a brokerage firm over here, TD Ameritrade's fine. Whoever allows you to trade, you have to look for a firm, and here's the whole key. You want to be able to trade stocks, options, and futures seamlessly at one account. Because if you're able to trade stocks, options, and futures seamlessly in one account, it means that they have the higher levels of insurance. And for me, that's an essential. And again, I'm just saying this expressly to help people. As we all know that there's been some futures firms that have had some wrongdoing over the years. And I feel incredibly strongly, I don't care if it's $10,000 in your account or $10 million in your account. If I can save one person, then, you know, we've done our job over here. So with this, okay, I'm going to show you a couple other configurations. So yeah, we got to a couple of different order types. Okay, we showed you how to come in here. There's also a button called last configuration. What last configuration means, it just remembers the previous configuration. Because what happens is when you're trading, okay, a little bit more actively, when you're trading more actively, all right, you'll start to get like lost in the configurations. Just go, okay, what was my last configuration that I had? But I much prefer to set up these templates, much more comfortable with that. As I was saying, there's a lot of different configurations you can even have for active trader. These super gadgets help you change the configurations. Again, super gadgets are on the right hand side. Some people like to look at what's called time and sales. What is time and sales? It's every trade that's going through in real time. Now, you have to realize that during the markets, this stuff literally moves in light speed. It's very, very hard to interpret. But I find it quite amusing. Like, I like looking at time and sales, like, ooh, who traded a 4 lot, you know, like, you know, 6, 7 o'clock at night. You know, people, you'll see some size trade. Some big news events, there'll be some size trading out there. So that's time and sales, okay? There's buttons. These are another column of buttons. If the button's on top, some people don't like the buttons on top. You know, you can actually get rid of the buttons on top. You can remove all the items and kind of get rid of the buttons on top over here, but you can also have an entire another set of buttons. They basically do the exact same thing, but it's kind of cool because you'd be like, you know, buy the market, sell the market, buy the market, sell the market, right off to the side of your screen instead of on the top. It's just a comfortability thing, okay? This is what they call big buttons. I like big buttons. Then we have a chart. That chart comes up on the left-hand side. Close that up. Then there's another chart. That chart comes up on the bottom. Then there's a third chart. You're like, that one comes up on the bottom. Well, you can actually have multiple configurations. Now, if you had a giant monitor, this would all fit with super, super high resolution. Okay, all three charts could fit. You also have configuration. Active trader plus chart, active trader plus 2 charts, active trader plus 3 charts. That's pretty much what I just showed you right here. But I'm just showing you a little shortcut on the super gadgets. Then we have dashboard. I want to buy it, okay, or I want to sell it. That's it, okay. This dashboard, I find it hideous. I don't use it. There's also a version of level 2 down below. Again, level 2, it's moving in billionths of a second these days. Literally, it's moving in nanoseconds. To try to interpret anything in nanoseconds, I believe is a little bit of futility. Last but not least, there's news on the bottom. You can stream news, okay? Faber says, okay, one of the Fabers there got banned from TV today. I think it was Mark Faber. Banned from TV. That was the other Faber. This is Faber from probably CNBC. Anyway, with that, that is primarily most of the features here of Active Trader. Now, I am going to talk a little bit in detail and answer a couple of questions over here. So a lot of the things that come up, okay, a lot of the things that come up in here, you know, people are asking me about commissions. When it comes to commissions, right, here's the key to commissions. And again, everybody's like, well, these commissions are cheaper, or those commissions are cheaper. I cannot stress enough about, you know, commissions. Do I have any answers, you know, for commissions and so forth? Commissions are always negotiable. At every major firm, they are negotiable. Now, one thing about commissions, I know everybody's like, I want the cheapest possible firm out there. Do you? Because the cheapest possible firm may have no insurance, okay, or limited amounts of insurance. So cheap is relative. In this industry, you have tendency to kind of get what you pay for. If you have, and I don't want to make this sound terrible, but if you have a very, very small account, okay, they're not going to be that negotiable with you when it comes to commissions. The thing about futures contracts, when you're clicking into futures contracts, and I actually brought this up so you could see it, this is rack rates. These are not my commission rates, but one thing I want to show you, the commissions can be expensive in futures because there is an exchange fee. Lots of people talk about like, oh, this brokerage firm is 50 cents to trade futures. No, they don't. It's 50 cents to the brokerage firm plus exchange and NFA fees, okay? The futures marketplace is a little bit more expensive to trade in. But again, I stress to people, the key is try to negotiate with the broker. Again, everything is negotiable to a degree. It depends. If you don't want to trade futures here, you trade futures anywhere you want. But I hope I've laid out enough here for you guys to have that knowledge base. If you're not a hyperactive trader, then this does great. If you are a hyperactive trader, okay, TD Ameritrade is phenomenal, but you're probably going to try to negotiate commissions. The amount of futures trades done these days at TD Ameritrade is staggeringly large, okay? By far, they have the largest retail futures order flow, and you're like, well, why? They're more expensive in commissions. It's not only about technology, it's about the safety of capital, okay, and the ability to trade stocks, options, and futures in one trading application. It's not my place. Okay, I'm no longer at TD Ameritrade, no longer in the brokerage business. It's not my place to discuss with you necessarily specifics on commission structure, other than to tell you the bigger the account, the more active the account, the better deal you can get on commissions. That absolutely is my place. And again, we have a negotiated rate. Our negotiated rate at TheoTrade is expressly for options, okay, and stock. Futures, okay, they do not negotiate on a, you know, education by education firm basis. Again, it's theotrade.com/preferred-broker. And that's if you wanted to open an account over here. And if you have any detailed questions, you can always go under this this contact us. Okay, you can go into TheoTrade, you go to the home over here, come under contact. And again, you could write this down or remember it. It's just support at TheoTrade.com, support at TheoTrade.com, and fire any questions that you may have at us. I mean, we're here to help you guys, through this process. Trading takes some time, but you got to get intimately familiar with some of the technology that you are effectively trading upon. So with that, again, I'm going to show you a few more items, answer a couple more questions, and then again, of course, wrap things up over here. So Stuart was asking, Don, please show how to buy stop or sell stop with an OCO bracket. So the buy stop or sell stop with an OCO bracket, that's just a trigger with bracket, okay? I mean, this is a limit order, right? There's a stop and then again, a limit. So that's your OCO bracket. So what you're actually looking at is maybe getting stopped into the trade, okay? How can you get stopped into the trade? I'll come back to the bracket over here, and it's the exact same thing. That's just a buy stop, setting a stop below and a target price above. That's it. So what happens if the market rallies up, and I'll give you a round price because it's easier to talk about. If the market rallies to this 58 level, it'll set a stop then at 57, and it'll set my target price at 59. So that is buy stopping me into the marketplace. You can also do that, of course, on the sell side. So every trade I'm doing on the buy side over here works, the same as the sell side. Okay. All right. So somebody said, can we set up the profit loss of the day to include commission and fees? No. If you want commission and fees, you have to go over your monitor tab under your account statement, all right, and actually dig deeper into commission and fees over here. And that's something that, I think a lot of people probably request over here. Guys, you know how it is. It's a brokerage firm. Do they really want to show you all your commissions and fees over here? Probably not. But again, not necessarily my place to say. I was in the brokerage firm for, 15 years. By the way, the entire time I worked at thinkorswim and the entire time I worked at TD Ameritrade, be clear, the people that ran that company were the biggest traders at the company. So believe me, I trade a lot and traded a ton, back when I worked there. And you're like, I mean, really, really nice to have the commissions up here. And you'd be like, hey, why the hell would you want to put commissions up there? You want to remind people that you're charging them? You got to go under the monitor tab, under the account statement, open up that cash and sweep, and it'll show you all the commissions. Okay? Hey, listen, this is great. You know why it's great? Because I actually get to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's true. Okay? By the way, somebody's saying, in practice, do you use templates? Okay? I don't use the templates at all myself. I do not use templates at all. Okay? First of all, any order that you're testing out, try it in paper trading. Try it in paper trading. It's a really, really good idea. Just do it in paper trading. Try it out. Listen, paper trading, though, and here's kind of one of the last things because I got to wrap up tonight because I've gone just a little bit over. But when it comes to paper trading is great for learning technology. But there's one thing I'm going to tell you, okay? Whether it's a course that you're attending here at TheoTrade, and our courses that we do, we have tremendous content and curriculum based around futures trades here at TheoTrade, okay? But when you are on paper trading, okay, you're learning technology. When you're in one of our live classes, you're learning strategy, okay? You're learning entry and exit. So what do you learn by yourself? You learn by yourself execution. And execution can only be felt in a live market, right? There are algorithms that were written into thinkorswim's paper trading system to make it feel more like live trading. But I'm telling you, nothing feels like the heat of battle, and it is as crazy as it sounds, okay? Nothing, is going to simulate trading like taking live fire in trades and having markets one day move against you by 10, 15 handles in a matter of a few seconds, okay? Handles obviously are points in here. And that's something that you want to get intimately familiar with the technology. So if you spend some time here on paper trading, that's to get familiar with the technology, okay? From there, then you go into the live trading and use those templates that you created in the paper trading, the templates that you're intimately familiar with, right? So again, hopefully I've covered enough to get you guys through some of the basics over here. Again, I encourage you guys, we do a tremendous amount regarding futures. In fact, our intraday trading specialist is Tony Rago. Tony is actually doing a a couple of presentations coming up. In fact, next week, he's going to do a presentation expressly on NASDAQ futures. If you've never learned about NASDAQ futures, okay, that's fine. You will. We'll email everybody, okay, a link about it. We're going to talk a little bit about NASDAQ futures next week. That's his specialty. I mean, the man literally trades one product, and that's all he has to trade. That's what he's successful at trading. If you ever need to get a hold of us, again, support TheoTrade.com goes to all of us here at TheoTrade. I answer a lot of the emails, of course, every single day by myself, with Doc, with Tony, all of us answer emails, ourselves. Again, if you have any brokerage, questions, you can go support at TheoTrade.com. This is the link to actually open an account, TheoTrade.com/preferred-broker. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight here at TheoTrade. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.